Regency Furniture Spectacular Black Friday sale can...
The WFMD Reynolds Team Newsletter. TevyHasTheBuyers.com. This is WFMD News.
The counting of the general elections.
All right, folks, we're getting ready to come on in one more minute.
County Sheriff Chuck Jenkins defeated Carl Bickle in
And
the
we
general
are
election.
about ready.
Jessica Fitzwater won the race for Frederick County Executive. She defeated Republican Michael Huff by a razor-thin margin. For the Frederick County Council, the members will be Jerry Donald, MC Keegan-Air, Cavante Duff, Brad Young, Renee Knapp, Steve McKay, and Mason Carter. The new county executive and county council will be sworn in next month, along with the sheriff.
Hope everybody's doing good on this beautiful, crisp day. Yes.
County Commissioner?
What's that?
Who's the county exec?
Oh, man. Did she really get 90% of the mail-ins, they said?
70-some%.
There's no way. There's no way to be a whole race that tight if you get 70-some% of mail-ins. No. That's
Mostly dubs.
That's a little fishy there. That's weird. Doesn't matter what side you're on. That's I'll be questioning that. I do a revote. That'll prove it. But oh well. All right, here we go, folks. Here we go. All right.
Real estate update. A conversation about the regional real estate market with tips for buyers and sellers. Your hosts, RE/MAX Results, Darren Ahern, and Presidential Bank.
All right. Hey folks, welcome back to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahern with RE/MAX Results, and I have with me the one and only man from Presidential Bank Mortgage with a bunch of money still over there to lend out.
Mr. Terry Kernan.
There he is.
How we doing?
All right, you get y'all turkey yet? Did you buy y'all turkey?
So I don't cook the turkey for Thanksgiving Day, but I do. We've been doing a great tradition at the office for the last 22 years. Is we have a Thanksgiving feast, and I cook the turkey.
There you go.
The Thursday before Turkey Day.
Okay.
So we had a great. So yes, I did
You
buy
did.
a turkey,
You've
and
done
I did
this.
cook it.
You've been there.
I
You
did.
beta tested
I
it.
did,
You
I
tried
did.
it out. Did it work good? Did
Oh,
it
was
come out
awesome.
okay?
It was awesome.
You didn't have no Clark Griswold moment?
No.
Ah.
No.
All right.
Very early to do that.
Well, we send all of our thoughts up to everybody up there in Buffalo with 4 to 5 feet of snow. They can't even have the Bills playing. I don't think they've ever had that much snow before Thanksgiving, have they?
So I watched a special on that, and they were talking, and basically 61 inches back in 2002 up in Buffalo. That's the largest
Snowfall
one time
Okay.
on record.
Did this break it?
It was very close. It was going to be a close second.
Woo!
So
Well, aren't you glad up there? Some people are going to have a little traveling problems getting to friends and family in Buffalo, so our prayers are with all of you people up there. So there goes the snow budget. All right, let's get into it, guys. Phone lines are open. We want to hear from you. 301-694-9363, 301-694-9363, or you can text it. Our producer will give it to us so we can address your cares, questions, thoughts, concerns, and maybe even real estate victories out there, Terry. So, all right, let's get right on into it because we have a lot of things to share. A lot of people, a lot of action going on and things changing up in the market. And so what's going on in the mortgage world?
Well, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out, and this will just take a minute. But last night, Mary Sue and I were very fortunate to be the guests of Scott and Kimmy Bell to go to Tribute 21,
Okay.
which is the celebration of people with Down syndrome. And it is a fantastic event every year. And Aaron and Brendan Fry started this years ago when they lost their son, Flynn. And the 21st chromosome usually comes in pairs, right? Chromosomes comes in pairs. But if they have 3 copies of the 21st chromosome, then they have Down syndrome. And it was fabulous. Year in, year out, it's a fabulous night. So a big shout out to Tribute 21, to the Fries, to Scott and Kimmy Bell for bringing us, but also a big shout out to, I was out recruiting new listeners last night, believe it or not. And,
All right.
So I got some young listeners that are, they're in their early 30s, but a big shout out to Johnny Bean and Lauren Wilson and Caitlin Mayo. And then before the event and after the event, we were hosted by Megan and Trevor Seberg. And it was just an unbelievable night. Anybody that, so it was a celebration. And it was just a fantastic night. And, can't thank everybody for being so grateful. And welcome to our new listeners. We got 5 new listeners.
All right, 5 new listeners. We appreciate those guys, and we're going to give you a lot of good information. And we pray that you would get it out there to a bunch of other people and let everybody else know. But awesome event. I'll tell you, Terry, when you say that, 2 things came to my mind. I just met with a colleague, a real estate agent, very good friend of mine, who she has a child with special needs and such like that. And we were just talking about that and how cool that is. And I have a good client of mine that has that. And then I also just sold a home this past year where I got to meet actually they bought my lawnmower from me, my riding lawnmower. The buyers ended up doing that, and I was able to deliver it. And it was really cool because I got to meet the whole family. They were moving in that day, and they had a daughter with Down syndrome. And it was really fun to be able to give her a hug and to laugh and to see her, how excited she was about their new home and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, and I think my heart goes out to all the families and all that stuff. So we got to raise some money for that, right? We got to get some money. You got to tell me, Darren, break out your checkbook. Here we go. Let's raise some good funds because, the Special Olympics I've been involved in and have helped support team in training, leukemia, and all that stuff. I've ran in the marathons and raised money for that as well. So you got to let me know how we can raise money for some of these foundations and organizations that are helping some of the families with, whatever it is, whatever things that they need, because it's always out there,
Yeah, I mean, my favorite night of the year is at the Knights of Columbus, at my nights, where Santa Claus comes and visits.
And that's you.
Well, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
Okay.
It looks like me.
It looks like you. I thought you did that before.
That is my favorite night of the year. Yeah. When Santa comes and visits the Special Olympians at the Knights of Columbus. And it's this year on December 9th. And it is
cool.
Bar none my favorite night.
I want to be there because I want to meet Santa and tell him what I want for Christmas this year, right?
Absolutely.
It's a house in Colorado. All right, Mortgage World, here we go, folks. Like I said, we love our listeners. We're going to say Happy Thanksgiving now and all that good stuff and be with your family. But call in to 301-694-9363. We want to hear from you, or text in your questions, and Terry and I are going to address those either now or later on the show. So go ahead.
So here's what's going on, Darren, is we've been talking about this inflation, and that's taken over our whole world, right? That's taken over all of our conversations. And what we're taking a look at is last week the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, came out, and it was much lower than expected, which signaled an easing of the inflation. Now, if you have it for 1 month, it's not a trend, right? It's just a 1 month reading.
Sure.
But what happened is the market went crazy. The stock market went way up. The bond market went way down, which is good news. When the bond market goes down, it basically signals lower rates. So it brought some stability to the interest rates. And I was talking to an agent, and they said, geez, what's going on? And I said, well, I can sell stability all day long.
Right.
Selling volatility is very, very hard, because what you have is you have somebody that says, well, what's your interest rate? And you say, well, we're at 6.5, and then they call 2 weeks later and you say, well, we're at 7.25, and they say, well, did you lie to me? Like it's one of those. They don't say that, but it's like, really?
Yeah.
So what we have is we've got the stability coming in.
Yes.
And so my phone has started ringing again.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And in the last week, we've had, many more people are calling. Let's get pre-qualified, because stability is an easy sell.
Yep.
So that's a big number. But what's going to happen is let's talk about this. What's going to happen is everybody says, okay, now that inflation's under control. It's not under control. Remember that scenario that I said, last time about the forest fire, and your campfire gets knocked over and you call it transitory fire.
Yeah.
And basically, so it is not under control. The fire is not under control. If we stop raising rates right now, then that fire is going to get really out of control in 2023, and we do not want that. So just because we had this one blip of great news that totally changed the market, totally calmed things down, we're still going to have interest rate hikes. And the difference is that in December, and Chairman Powell, I know, listened, but he doesn't always take my advice, but basically they're looking at 0.75% raising the rate, but I think it's going to drop down to 0.5%. So they're going to raise them a half rather than 3/4. The last 4 meetings, they've raised them 3/4 each meeting. And I think we're going to start seeing that slow down. So that's very, very important to get back to stability. But if they stop raising rates, then the forest fire is going to get really out of control in 2023. You can't walk away from a fire that's still there, right? You got to put the fire out. And so don't expect rates to not continue to go up, okay? But what I'm telling you is that the mortgage interest rates, we're seeking stability, which we haven't had in 5-6 months.
Right.
So,
and that's good stuff. That's what I'm finding right now, Terry, is a lot of the buyers and everybody and sellers, even though, well, here's the thing too. The question I get is this: are we going to see interest rates go to 7% again or higher and stay above 7%? That's the big question I'm getting right now. And I'm also getting a lot with sellers I've been meeting with recently saying, hey, Darren, should we, obviously this happens every year, but this is a lot different question. Should we wait until January, February, March to sell, or should we put our home on the market now? And I said to them, the risk tolerance level, the chances of you losing value or having interest rates go up and getting less than an offer because of affordability and all that, the chance of that happening is greater than values going up and interest rates going way down. I asked them, what do you think? And they said, yeah, we should probably get this on the market right now.
really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm finding sellers feeling the sense of still urgency to, like, in the next week or two, let's get our home in the market. Let's not wait 2 or 3 more months, especially with the Fed meeting and rates going to go up a little bit. So the big question I'm getting is, are we going to top 7% or are we going to stay above 7%?
Well, let me be very, very clear. For the last 30 days, we've been above 7%. Okay.
Yeah, but we come back down a little bit.
No, we're under 7 now because that volatility was squelched. For now,
Right.
Stability's back. Rates are under 7%, and that's why I believe that the phone has started to ring again.
Oh, I know it.
Because, people see 6%, and they're like, okay, now's the time to jump. So what it signals to me is that people, and let's not talk about the experts, let's talk about, the average buyer, the average seller, is what that signals to me is people believe that rates are going to go up again, okay? So it goes back to the old, okay, something's on sale, I'm going to buy it now.
Yep.
Rather than buy it in 3 months when it's not on sale. So I think the general feeling out there is that rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
I do not think that they can go above 8%, but I think that there would be a possibility that we could see 7%. But I think next year at this time, we're going to be talking about rates in the 5s. That's just my heartfelt opinion. Okay.
All right. And I go back to, you marry the house and you date the rate, because we've talked many times, you just refinance, right?
Yes.
All right, big subject we have on our hands, Terry, we got to cover. This is so important. It ties in with what we've been dealing with, and people are asking the question, what is the difference between me as a buyer paying points and getting a lower rate versus this whole 3-2-1 or 2-1 buy down where the seller has to pay that portion for me to get that? Go.
Okay. So we're going to call it the buy down versus the buy down. Okay.
Sounds like a cool wrestling match. Here we go. In this corner, we have the buy down.
The twin brothers.
The twin brothers getting ready to go ahead. Sounds like Thanksgiving's coming up. Here we go.
So let's talk about, and let's refresh everybody's memory on what I've talked about before, is 2-1 buy down is something we have not used in probably 15, 16, 17 years.
Right.
It's back. It's real. It's popular. 2-1 buy down. I'm going to tell you real quickly. Very simple. Rates are at 6.75%.
Okay. Average?
Yep. Average. the seller is willing to pay, or the realtor's willing to pay, or even the parents can pay, and I talked about this. They're willing to pay for the borrower to buy down their rate 2% in the first year, 1% in the second year, and then settle out at the note rate for years 3 through 30. That's a 2-1 buy down. Let's take a look. 6.75%. I'm going to use 400,000 because that's kind of the average.
Yeah, we've been using that a lot, and people are getting used to it.
Yes. Sorry, I got a little something in my throat. 6.75%. The principal and interest payment. Forget taxes. Forget insurance. This is what's important. Principal and interest. $25.95 is going to be your payment years 3 through 30. Year 1, $2,086. So basically, you're looking at saving $500 a month.
Nice.
In year 1. Year 2, you're at 5.75. So it gradually.
So
goes
first
up.
year, that's $6,000 right there.
Yes, first year.
First year, you save $6,000 in first year. Second year, go ahead.
Second year, you're gonna save about $250 a month.
Okay.
Okay, so
About $3,000 more.
Yep.
So you got $9,000 you've saved.
So you got $9,000 that you do not have to pay an interest. Why? Because you're prepaying it at the settlement table, and you're not prepaying it. The seller has to prepay it, or the builder, or you, the agent, or somebody. But the buyer
I ain't
can't pay.
paying it.
So they're paying close to $9,000, $10,000 to buy down the interest rate temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
2% first year, 1% second year.
Now, if they're saving $9,000, Terry, does that mean the seller has to pay that $9,000 that the buyer's going to save?
Yes.
Up. Okay. All right.
Buyer has to pay. So what you're doing is we're taking the interest that you would normally pay,
Mm-hmm.
and we're giving you a lower payment for 2 years than 1 year. So basically, the first 2 years of your loan, we're going to ease you into your final payment.
Okay.
And the thought is, Darren, is that in the next 3 years, you're going to be able to refinance it.
Oh, yeah. Most, if that rate goes, as we've said, if it's 1% or whatever calculation you have learned, I've always said to buyers, if it's 1% or less than what you're paying now in an interest rate, it's probably a really, really good idea to check out refinancing. But go ahead. There's a lot more to it, but that's a good rule I use.
So that's the 2-1 buy down. That's
Good.
kind of a refresher course. Now, what people are struggling with, and what people, they just want the rate. They want the lowest payment, right? People aren't worried about the rate. They're worried about the payment. So what I've been finding is that people are rate sensitive, but they are not price sensitive. And what I mean by that is, I had a borrower call in a veteran, a VA loan, and they wanted to pay. They were getting an offer from another company at an interest rate in the 5s. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Low 5s. And I said, but what's that going to cost you? Well, I don't know. I said, well, send me what they're, charging you. And it was a $800,000 loan. And basically they were being charged 3%, which is $24,000.
Wow.
So the deal is don't pay all those points. They were buying down the rate.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2-1 buy down is different from a normal buy down. And a buying down the rate is basically when you pay money up front, it disappears. Okay? And you get a lower payment over the 30-year term, but you have to pay a lot of money to get there. Okay? So to me, it's not worth it. Let's take one example. Let's go back to the $400,000 loan. This is buy down versus buy down. This buy down is basically we're at 6.75%, and somebody says, you know what, I want a lower rate. Okay, for every point that you pay, you can buy your rate down by 0.25%. So let's take a look at this scenario, and which one are you going to like better?
All right. I love it. This is good.
So the $400,000 loan that we used was $25.95, right?
Right. Payment. Mm-hmm.
Payment for years 3 through 30. This new loan, because you're going to give me $4,000, which is 1% of the loan amount,
Right.
to buy that rate down 0.25%.
Okay.
So that payment for 30 years is going to go from $25.95 to $25.28, a saving of $67.
Oh.
So you say, well, where's my break even? No matter what you do and what you buy down, the break even is always within a month or two. How do you figure it out? It's going to cost you $4,000 to save $67 a month.
Okay.
Where's my break even? You divide 67 into 4,000,
Right.
it comes to 59.7
Months.
months.
Okay.
So 5 years.
5 years.
So basically, if you buy down your rate by paying points, no matter if you pay 1, 2, or 3 points, that formula always works out to 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you're going to refi in 3,
Yeah, why
what
would you
makes
do
sense?
it? Yeah.
Let's go with the 2-1 buy down.
Exactly. Why would you do that? Okay.
No reason.
All right, the 2-1 buy down is the winner.
right.
It won.
Winner.
Chicken dinner, turkey dinner. That is good. That is really good for people to know. Wow, there you go. That's why, guys out there, all the buyers listening to us that are thinking of buying a home here soon or anytime, this is it right here. This is why it's so
Did
important.
that make sense?
Absolutely. That's about as crystal clear, ladies and gentlemen, as you can get. So good job, Terry. Let's get into the numbers real quick. Inventory. Oh, that trip I was wanting you to give back to me because we are at 450 total active homes on the market. That ship sale when it was at 509. I shouldn't have brought that up. All right, resale. Shouldn't have brought it last time, and it was slid by because it was just one-time event. All right, 450 total active resale homes on the market in Frederick County. A lot of people are still thinking, how in the heck is that? What's going on? That is so low still. Why is inventory not going through the roof if things are, it's not. There's just a lot of dynamics, guys. Resale 286, this new construction. 2 numbers stick out, 3 numbers stick out to me this week that did not in the last 2 weeks. The first one is coming soon, 39. Where's all the sellers?
We want 100.
Yeah, we're like getting to we want to get to 100.
But let me ask you a question. Coming soon means that they have up to 3 weeks to put that on the market.
Correct.
My feeling is that if I want to sell, I'm not going to wait 3 weeks.
No, I don't know. I got one coming up now. They said, Darren, let's go. Next week, let's go. So you're right. Most sellers are not delaying a week, a 2 week, a 3 week on coming soons as much at all.
That's crazy.
It's like 2 days, let's go. So I know that because as I search for buyers and they're like, hey, and they're seeing more come up in their criteria, some of them, but they're also seeing like, oh, that comes on tomorrow. Wait a minute. That's not coming soon. That's coming now, So it's a little different feel because of the dynamics of the market. The other big thing, Terry, is the average days on market. Wow, we were hovering around 38, 44 for a good little while there. It was only going up just a few ticks here and there and everything. In the last 2 weeks, we're at 53 days average time on market.
Almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Almost 2 months.
Yeah, so we're
think about
53.
So
we went from 7.
Yeah.
We went from the lowest number ever, which was 7, and now we're at 53. Go ahead.
So if you put your house on the market today and it sells in the average amount of time of 53 days, you're looking at not getting a contract till January.
That's right. Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you've got the holiday mix and you've got the weather and you've got this and you've got everything. So who knows? But there's a lot of dynamics, I think, that's pushing that number up that we'll talk about coming up too, and some of its strategy, some of its couple mishaps by sellers, considering we now have 55% of sellers that have made a price correction since they've been on the market, which is the highest number we have seen in many years, 3 years or more, over 3 years now. So that's that shock and awe thing. 472 is the median average price point in Frederick County. That is down from being over 500. Remember, we topped 500 for a little while. Temporary off market. This is a weird number. 48 homes are temporarily off the market. I don't know if they're waiting to cook the turkey up and then we'll come back on, or that's a very high number in retrospect to the total inventory. That is almost 10%.
And temporary off market means that they had a listing.
They were on the market
and
active.
Withdrew it.
They took it down, right? Mm-hmm.
They withdrew it, and then they're waiting to put it back on.
Well, no, temporary means it was active. They didn't withdraw it or expired the listing. They just temporarily taken off. normally it would be we had something happen, a water leak, a roof leak, we're fixing damage.
4 feet of snow.
4 feet of yeah, Buffalo. Wow. We have about 200 homes, 300 homes for sale in Buffalo that they're like, we're not temporarily going off the market for 3 days. This is going to be a week or two, right? Maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. All right. If the temperature doesn't go up, they may wait till March or April. Who knows? But temporary off market, it constitutes a seller that says, look, we're going to now paint. We had 6 showings. Nobody liked my condition. We want to paint now. We want to do flooring, or we want to do this or that. These are people that typically are doing something to make it better. So coming soon, we talked pending under contract 520, 265 resales are under contract right now for pending, active under contract. Sold in the last 30 days, 328. Wow. Remember the days, Terry, when it was over 1,000 homes, 1,100 homes sold in 30 days? We're down to 328. That is getting low. That is almost in the leads. That means everything's come through the pipeline. And yeah, 328. That's 10 homes, 11 homes, 10 homes a day.
So that's purchases.
Yep, purchases.
In
yep.
the last 30 days.
In the last 30 days have sold.
So that's like off 70%.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
70%.
70%.
Okay.
Volume, by the way, is off by 28%. So the actual volume of homes selling, okay, is down 28% now. But this is talking about in the last 30 days how many have happened, and that is really
down 70% from 6 months ago.
Oh yeah,
7 months.
A little bit more, 9 months.
9 months.
About 10 months ago, we're off by 70 now as a 30-day rolling average. This is an interesting thing. Those 328 homes that sold in the last 30 days, the average time on that was 21 days. And now the time on the market for actives, we're getting up there to 53. So that 21, we're going to see in the next month or two, these new sales coming up. Out of those 520, really, if you take the 265 resale that are pending now, when they do settle in the next 30 to 35, 40 days, that 21 average is going to go way up. I predict probably 30 to 35 average time on the market. That is going to start catching up to where we're at now experiencing. It's going to start chasing that down pretty fast. Let me get through this. 471 was the average price of resale. So that's pretty tight versus where we're at now, which is a good sign. This number got me too. 98.9% sold to list price. I'm still waiting for that to get down to 95 or less, 96 or 95 or less. And I believe that is gonna happen, because as we see more and more sellers behind the 8 ball that aren't getting sold, the only number that will skew that, Terry, I've realized, is if they withdrawn or expire their property and they just don't sell it. That will take that number of how much sellers have already reduced their price to get an offer. That's going to take that completely out of the equation. We won't have that data no more.
Okay.
So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. We need that data, because that data represents what has happened in real time in the market that is providing us that sellers are not getting what they're asking for and starting for. So that skews that little data. That's almost like adding a brand new home construction into the average days on market. It skews it too much. You can't have that. So I thought about that this way. I thought that's an interesting dynamic. All right, we got 2 minutes left, Terry. Here we go. I just had a Gaithersburg condo sell that we got under contract. The last highest sold was $352. We have an offer for $331. That is $21,000 less than the last highest sold condo in this community. That's first level, all things considered the same, right? That was 6 months ago. So guess what I've learned? We are now losing 1% of value per month if that trend continues. And this is down in Gaithersburg near Rio, in a great area.
Yeah.
This is a hot market. This is like, whoa. So if that trend continues, that's going to not be too good. So, all right, last thing I want to share too here real quick, Terry, that's important is I have a new listing for sale down in Sandy Spring only. Awesome home, 17801 Martin Lane, 6 bedroom, 2.5 bath. little over 5 acres with a detached 2-car garage, swimming pool, Morton building outside. Beautiful location, as you know. That's a nice area right there. Oh no, this is what's the deal. It needs some work. It's a good investment. It's going to be a little bit of a fixer-upper. It needs some serious TLC. Guess what the seller's willing to sell this for? Take a guess. $725.
I was going to say 800.
7.25. Yep,
Okay.
we could get multiple offers. If anybody is looking for a really good deal in Montgomery County, we have investors listening to all that. You better give me a call, because this puppy's going to hum, I can tell you right now.
So Mary Susan, I know is listening. Mary Susan, if you want to upsize.
Yes, if you'd like to upsize, get you a pool in the backyard, get you all the goodies on almost 5 acres. I got it for you. All right, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Hug each other, be with family, have a great time, and we look forward to seeing you next week on your Frederick Real Estate Update. Take care now. We're always here. There you go. Take care, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey and pie. Don't relax too much. Take a run. Jog it off. Get all those calories out of your system, and you're going to be just fine. Call Terry and I. We're going to be here for you all the time for happy buying and selling and mortgages. Take care. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.